Hello and welcome to Reality Check. Today the Prime Minister announced the testing of a new kind of missile that can shoot down satellites. On cue, the BJP and government have begun to talk up the achievement. And as Balakot starts to fade, national security has returned to election centre stage. And if Balakot is any evidence, any questions that may be raised about today's incident is likely to be branded as anti-national or as pro-Pakistan. Now, the idea of conflating the political opposition in India as acting on the behest of foreign powers hostile to national interest is not new in Indian elections. Recall Indira Gandhi and the invoking of the foreign hand accusation to tarnish her political rivals. Now things have taken a darker turn, with top leaders of the ruling party easily deploying the opposition equals to agents of Pakistan rhetoric. Now, this is a serious allegation amounting to treason if proven, but proof is never supplied. It is simply an allegation repeated over and over again. Here are all the instances we could gather during the last few weeks of the opposition being accused of either colluding with Pakistan or furthering its agenda.
महामिलावटी लोग पाकिस्तान के पोस्टर बॉय बन गए हैं। जब एयर स्ट्राइक के बाद पाकिस्तान की बोलती बंद हो गई, ये लोग पाकिस्तान को ही शांति का दूत बताने लगे।
पूरा पाकिस्तान सदमे में, पूरी पाकिस्तान की संसद सदमे में, पूरा पाकिस्तान का मीडिया सदमे में और अपने बुआ भतीजा और राहुल बाबा भी सदमे में। जैसे चचेरे भाई मर गए हो ऐसा चेहरा कर पूरे देश में स्वाभिमान जगा और एक विपक्ष के लोग मातम मना रहे थे, छातियां पीट पीट कर हाय तौबा कर रहे।
राहुल गांधी अब तभी मानेंगे जब पाकिस्तान राफेल की सर्टिफिकेट दे देगा।
वो हिंदुस्तान की लड़ाई लड़ रहे हैं, पाकिस्तान की लड़ाई लड़ रहे हैं, ये भी देश को समझ में नहीं आ रहा है। उनका बयान हमसे ज्यादा, हमारे देश के लोगों से ज्यादा, हमारे पड़ोसी देश के लोग ज्यादा उनका रिट्वीट करते हैं, उसको ज्यादा प्रचार करते हैं। शायद कभी जाकर वहां चुनाव लड़ लेते तो जीत भी जाते वहां।
किसने सोचा था हमारे जवानों का खून बहेगा पुलवामा में और कांग्रेस पार्टी देश के साथ नहीं बल्कि पाकिस्तान के साथ जाकर खड़ी हो जाएगी। किसने सोचा था कि राहुल गांधी के गुरु सैम पिट्रोडा कहेंगे कि हाँ, हिंदुस्तान में तो ऐसी घटनाओं में लोग मरते रहते हैं, लेकिन पाकिस्तान को दोष नहीं देना चाहिए।
चोट पाकिस्तान को लग रही है, चोट आतंकवादियों को लग रही है, चीख कांग्रेस पार्टी की निकल रही है। ये जो पाकिस्तान सबूत मांगता है, कांग्रेस पार्टी सवाल करती है।
Now, these same accusations peaked on Twitter as well, particularly after advisor to the Congress, Sam Pitroda, asked for evidence of the Balakot strikes and also said cannot blame an entire nation, Pakistan in this case, for the action of a few. In response, the Prime Minister himself tweeted, most trusted advisor and guide of the Congress president has kick-started Pakistan's National Day celebrations on behalf of the Congress, ironically by demeaning India's armed forces. Piyush Goyal, another union minister, once again, the Congress speaks the language of terror apologists. Time and again, they betray our jawans and insult the memories of our martyrs. Congress speaks, Pakistan gets headlines. The BJP's official handle. After seeing the statements of the Indian Overseas Congress chief, we are only wondering if INC India is contesting Lok Sabha elections in India or Pakistan. The nexus of Congress and Pakistani-backed terrorists has cost India many innocent lives. Smriti Irani, who we just heard there, naive to bring a terror state to justice? Now the nation knows why Rahul Gandhi and the UPA chose not to respond with the full might of India post 2611. Congress sympathies with Pakistan stand exposed. No wonder you supported the Bharat Tere Tukde gang. Suresh Prabhu, another minister, despite all that our forces do for our country, the opposition insults them by commencing the Pakistani National Day celebrations. 130 crores of citizens of India will not let this go unnoticed. Now, as we know, the Pakistan card in Indian elections is not new. Recall Amit Shah during the 2015 Bihar election campaign saying that if the BJP loses, crackers will burst in Pakistan. And the Prime Minister during the 2017 Gujarat elections alleging that former Prime Minister Manmohan Singh was somehow part of a Pakistani plot.
गलती से भी अगर भारतीय जनता पार्टी बिहार में हार गई तो जय पराजय तो बिहार में होगी, पटाखे पाकिस्तान में जाकर जलेंगे।
भूतपूर्व प्रधानमंत्री मनमोहन सिंह આ મણિશંકરના ઘરે મીટિંગ મળી. પાકિસ્તાનના પૂર્વ આર્મી ડાયરેક્ટર જનરલ અરશદ રફીક એમ કે ગુજરાતમાં અહેમદ પટેલને મુખ્યમંત્રી બનાવવા માટે ટેકો કરવો જોઈએ.
Later on, of course, when the Congress party asked for proof in Parliament, the government had to clarify on the floor of the House that there was, in fact, no basis to that charge and they had to backtrack on it. All right, joining us tonight on the debate, we have with us Lalita Kumaramangalam, Director, India Foundation, Senior Member of the BJP, Priyanka Chaturvedi of the Congress, hopefully joining us shortly, KC Singh, former diplomat, strategic affairs expert, and here in the studio, Amit Barua, resident editor, The Hindu. Now, Amit, you know, this rhetoric of Pakistan, earlier there was this sort of go to Pakistan slogan that was applied to anybody who dissented with the government. But now with this sort of nationalism in the air, with national security in the air, it has been ratcheted up to a level that at least I can't recall ever hearing, where the opposition is repeatedly targeted and demonized as somehow being agents of Pakistan.
And it's just the beginning of the campaign.
It's just the beginning of the outside,
we're virtually getting into it. I think that this is going to be a feature of this election because from Pulwama, Balakot, the way the chest thumping from the ruling party, I think it's evident that they feel that this is a moment they need to capitalize on.
And today's, rocket launch as well, which in a sense is already, we're seeing, playing into that narrative.
Oh, absolutely. I think that this strong, muscular India response to Pakistan. But I just want to take you back to the 5 years of Mr. Modi and Pakistan. When he was sworn in, he invited Nawaz Sharif here.
Yes.
Then we had a couple of other incidents. The whole process broke. Then after Pathankot, an ISI team came here. So a lot of things happened, and then you remember he went and on Nawaz Sharif's birthday on 25th December.
Yes.
So there's been actually a huge kind of, it's really been a roller coaster for India-Pakistan as far as relations are concerned.
But at the same time, that's not prevented them from actually targeting their political rivals as somehow being Pakistani agents. And let me just get KC Singh on that. KC Singh, because this is something that in a sense has coarsened the entire debate about Pakistan. On one hand, you have the Prime Minister sending a message to Imran Khan on Pakistan National Day, a message of goodwill. And then on the other, you personally attack Congress leadership, you attack the opposition as being in collusion with Pakistan.
It's a two-track approach. They realize that if they come back, win the election and they come back, they'll have to deal with Pakistan. They have to deal with China. So that's why the muscular approach is missing when dealing with China. So it's really China which has supported Pakistan on the Masood Azhar case. But there we were told to be circumspect, we shouldn't take them on, we shouldn't provoke them. So it seems to be this special affection is only for Pakistan. And this has been used to bait the opposition for some time now. And Congress gets into a trap because they've been in governance for many decades. If they don't speak up, it looks bad. If they speak up, then they've fallen for the bait. But essentially, Congress's challenge is to keep the focus on economic issues. We know what happened yesterday. They revealed a new scheme. Then you had a former governor of Reserve Bank who has a lot of public adulation that has followed him in India, who said this is workable. Now you want the focus away from economic issues. You want it away from rural distress. You want it away from unemployment. You want it away from GDP and other data that is questionable. And the simplest thing is you go to national security, go to jingoism and try putting the opposition in a corner and punch them.
Right. Lalita Kumaramangalam, it's one thing to say that, okay, you may want to use national security or you may want to use jingoism to deflect away from real issues. But it's another to keep suggesting that the political opposition is either helping Pakistan or is in collusion with Pakistan. Those, as I said, are very serious charges amounting to treason. But this charge is made again and again without proof. Isn't this dangerous for democracy?
Vasu, I think you're overstating facts and leaning too much to one side. Now, let's look at it from the other side too.
Okay.
Everything that the BJP says is considered jingoism by a lot of people, especially those who are avid Modi and Amit Shah haters. That aside, we must remember that we are in the middle of election season.
Right.
Every party is standing for elections. Every party is making statements against each other. You must also remember that it's a bit ridiculous to criticize Narendra Modi for writing a letter to Imran Khan on their National Day. But I mean, the criticism is coming from the same people who say that we are totally going against Pakistan, etc., etc., etc. Right?
No, I'm
One.
talking.
Two.
No,
the second
quickly.
thing is that for
Sorry,
how
quickly.
long
Can I just,
is it to be expected
No,
that
can I
India
just-
will turn
can
the
I just
other
jump
cheek
in there
when
for 1
Pakistan
second?
keeps killing off our fellows?
Lalita Kumar
Yeah,
Mangal,
sure.
I just want to
Yeah,
jump
you-
in for
you
1
wanted to
second
say
to say that
Absolutely.
the criticism, I mean, is really about the double standards.
Yeah.
On one hand, the Prime Minister is saying that the Congress party is inaugurating Pakistan's National Day. A bunch of other BJP leaders are saying the same thing, as if the Congress is in collusion with Pakistan.
Yes.
And then he himself sends this message
Yes.
on the same day. So it was the sheer double standards of it.
Look, Vasu, Mr. Modi is the Prime Minister of India, right? He didn't send it as an individual. He sent it as one Prime Minister to another.
Fair enough.
Secondly, he merely sent a letter of congratulations on their National Day. It's quite different when you actually go to the embassy and say that we are here to be with you, stand with you, or whatever else that the Congress may have told them on that day. The second thing is that this is not the only time that over the last, let's say, the few years, let's not just talk about Balakot, etc.
Yes.
But over the last few years,
Yes.
that the initiatives of the government of India
Yes.
have been doubted or questioned when it comes to Pakistan. Everybody still asks those million questions about whether Uri happened or not. That still is asked. Now, with the moment Pakistan says, oh, Balakot never happened, well, Pakistan may have its limitations, they can't but say that. But every Indian doesn't have to say it, regardless of their political affiliations.
But
So
even
why
if
do
you
you expect
question-
that one side can say whatever they want,
No, but
and we
even
will
if
just
you-
keep quiet?
No,
We are
but
not
Lalita-
saying it merely because
Lalita
we are
Kumar
BJP. We
Mangla,
are also saying it because we
even
are
if
in
you
government
but the
and
point
we know that it happened.
no, but the point is, even if you were
Yeah.
to raise questions, that doesn't automatically mean that you can be labeled an agent of Pakistan. That's, as I said, that's a problem. That's basically making a charge of treason against our own citizens. Priyanka Chaturvedi, let me ask you this though, that as KC Singh said, do you find yourself
We haven't
every
said that-
time?
No. We haven't laid a
all
charge
right,
of treason.
I'll come back to you.
So we haven't laid a charge of treason. That's how it's being interpreted. But the fact is that when you have people like Sam Pitroda, who's known to be very close to the leadership of the Congress,
Yeah.
make statements, whether it's off the cuff or irresponsible, you can give it many
Can I
names,
say something here?
the way he did.
I'll
How
come
do you
back
expect
to-
us to just keep quiet and say it's fine that, you know, you say that, can I finish please? After that you can come in.
Yeah.
Please let me finish. After that you can come in. You can't really expect all of us to just keep quiet and say, yes, Sam Pitroda is of course a very smart man, etc., etc.
Okay.
And he can say what he wants.
Okay, I have to move on now.
Pakistan has been hammering us for decades.
Okay.
I have no idea how many thousands of Indians have died, regardless
I
of
have
who's
to-
been in
I
power
have
at
to
the
move-
center
Okay.
or in J&K, etc., etc.
Lalita Kumar Mangal,
Finally,
you made your
we've
point. I have to
decided
move
not
on.
to turn the other cheek, and it seems to be, you know,
Gosh,
very
can I-
painful for
Okay, I
certain
need to-
political
Chance to
parties.
speak.
I need to move on. Priyanka, I was asking you whether the Congress often ends up not serving its own cause, and as KC Singh says, you sort of fall between the cracks. If you question it, you get attacked. If you don't question it, you get attacked.
So I heard two things coming from the BJP spokesperson. One is that any hater of Amit Shah and Narendra Modi will question the narrative. I'm sorry, it is not a question of an Amit Shah or a Narendra Modi. The question is about how you'll publicize and politicize even our armed forces and use it for political opportunism, and that will be called out. The second thing she mentioned was We have been getting hammered by Pakistan. I do not know when we start getting hammered by Pakistan. Must have happened post 2014 scenario, because before 2014 we have been giving it back to them in equal measure. So I don't know which India is she talking about. Now, secondly, about discussing Pakistan, discussing national security, the Congress has been very firm as far as our national security policies are concerned, that there is going to be no compromise as far as any terror activity coming into our land will be dealt with strictly, sternly, and it is something endorsed by National Security Advisor Ajit Doval in his research papers for Vivekananda Foundation. Now, coming back to the core point here. Now, if I can understand clearly by the one-sided conversation that was happening, that Nyay, the Nyunatam Aay Yojana that we have seemed to announce, has rattled them so much that they're trying to shift the narrative to nationalism, etc. But we must understand now, if you put it in context to what India wants, the ADR report categorically shows what the voters have responded. The voters are talking about employment. Voters are talking about a better economy, about health facilities, about sanitation. And priority as far as so-called nationalism is concerned is at 3%, 4%. So when 40% of this nation wants you to talk about jobs, we are going to talk about jobs.
Okay, fair enough. I'm on a slightly different point though. Amit Barua, which is once again coming back to my core argument that smearing the political, you can talk about any issue you want, but when you keep going after your rivals and portraying them to be agents of a foreign country, a hostile country, that's a problem. And my worry is that this is not just about Pakistan. This has got a communal subtext to it, right? So the attempt has been to kind of portray the opposition, particularly the Congress, as being a pro-Muslim party, and then the Pakistan agent signaling is actually built into that as a subtext. And we've seen both now,
because I think the BJP's position has always been that they are the defenders of India and Indian nationalism, and the Congress has always been soft and never done enough as far as Pakistan is concerned. But there's another issue here, Vasu, which is that if you see a state like Madhya Pradesh or even Rajasthan, see the way the Congress has adopted the cow program of the BJP. So I think somewhere along the way the Congress also believes that it has to reach out to this Hindu vote in a new way. And I think they have done it to some extent. But the real issue is that our policy on Pakistan is a very serious issue. Pulwama is a serious issue. 26/11 is very serious issue. I think the real thing is that politicians don't have any monopoly over nationalism. I don't believe that just because you're a politician, that gives you some greater currency to speak on these issues. I think a journalist, anybody else, a common citizen understands his or her allegiance to the nation and the country quite well. So I think if we moved on to the real issues, pollution in Delhi, climate change, so many other things, not just unemployment and other things. So I think we would be far better served as a country that we debate these issues while keeping Pakistan on. And I think it's time for the main political parties to really come to some kind of understanding and deal with this issue as one. I think the threat from Pakistan is serious enough for political parties to really consider that they must behave and act differently.
Would you agree with that, Ambassador Singh, as a diplomat, that if you manage to ratchet up the pitch about Pakistan to this extent, that simply any kind of association with it, you even mention anything about it, you immediately get smeared as a Pakistani agent, distorts your ability to make sustained strategic interventions in a united way?
No, that's true. You need consensus behind a foreign policy. Otherwise, what happens is, and this is what has happened over the last 3-4 years, when prime ministers traveled abroad, prime ministers were never attacked politically when they traveled abroad. When Prime Minister Modi started attacking the opposition while addressing the non-resident Indians and the diaspora, then opposition also said all bets are off. This is really bad. I think we have to restore a consensus. And Pakistan is a national problem or a national issue, and we have to deal with it. And you need all parties to be on the same page. And simply critiquing a prime minister or BJP's policy, I don't know how that is hatred. That is the core in a democracy, that you're allowed and you must critique a ruling party. And here what they do is they quickly, even us on the Twitter, they'll say you hate the prime minister. And I keep saying I don't hate the prime minister. I did the same critiquing of UPA when they were in power. I criticized them on 26/11. But all that is forgotten because in the limited window of social media, you are picked up in a very narrow window and you are friend or foe. and BJP revels in it, and it's a very dangerous game.
You know, Lalita Kumaramangalam, you said that I was making too much of it. I, in fact, read out and played at least 8 or 9 statements of the BJP's leadership directly accusing the opposition of either colluding or being part of some kind of Pakistani plot. Let me play you one more clip. This was the Prime Minister during the Chhattisgarh campaign, where essentially he conflated the Congress party with Naxal militants. Let's play that clip.
जो अर्बन माओवादी है वो शहरों में एयर कंडीशन घरों में रहते हैं, वहां बैठे बैठे रिमोट सिस्टम से हमारे इन आदिवासी बच्चों की जिंदगी तबाह करने का ये काम करते हैं। ये माओवादी निर्दोषों की हत्या करे और कांग्रेस के नेता उन्हें क्रांतिकारी कहे।
You know, this is what I'm talking about, Lalita Kumaramangalam. Now, the Congress, as we know, lost a substantial chunk of its leadership in Chhattisgarh to a murderous Naxal attack. And here you have the Prime Minister saying that the Congress actually cheers Maoists. Isn't this is what I'm saying, isn't this serious?
Vasu, I think again here that you're, sort of somehow managing to give a different color to it. What the Prime Minister said was that people sitting in air-conditioned rooms who are urban Maoists are making, are doing a lot of, creating a lot of confusion, etc., in the red areas.
No,
and
he said
that
the
Congress is calling them revolutionaries. He didn't say that the Congress were urban Maoists.
But who? But which Naxals?
He didn't say that the Congress were urban Maoists or that they were the ones who were.
So which are the which are these Naxals? Who are them? Because this is a statement coming from the Prime Minister himself. So it's a very serious thing. Who are these urban Naxals or Naxals whom the Prime Minister, who the Congress is?
As you know, who
is the Congress supporting?
Over people who were supposed to be hand in glove with several Maoists and very sympathetic to the ultra left. You already know about them. They were in jail. They were tried, etc. Some I think are out now on bail. You know all about this earlier, Vasu. There's no need for me to give names again now.
But I mean, I've never come across, I mean, when you say I know about it, I don't know of the Congress backing people who are accused of Maoist links. Please inform me. And if the Congress is and there's evidence of collusion, then surely there should be action.
The Congress
rather than just rhetoric.
Them revolutionaries.
Okay, Priyanka Chaturvedi, do you want to respond to that?
Congress did call them revolutionaries.
I see. Okay.
And there are several
okay, Lalita, allow her to respond. Lalita Kumaramangalam, allow her to respond. Yes.
Mrs. Kumaramangalam really needs to even listen to the Prime Minister's speeches where he has used words which are associated with patriotism as well as Maoism and how they are the real nationalists. He has said that, not just him, even Amit Shah has said that. I'm not going to get into the words used. The intent behind the words and trying to project that only they are the certificate givers of patriotism, they are the only ones who love India, everyone else who questions their governance is anti-India and anti the entire idea of India. So this is what they have been trying to project since 2014, ever since they've been cornered into questions that concern this nation on various issues.
Right.
But the question is not this right now. What the Prime Minister seems to do, and perhaps Kumaramangalam ji hasn't heard his speeches even in Gujarat, where he questioned the former Prime Minister, former Army Chief with regards to Pakistan.
We just
so
played
this
that
is
clip.
the mindset which they try to push across through social media profiles, and this is where they try to silence voices that have a word or have something to say against this government.
Right.
But we are going to stick to the agenda.
Okay.
The agenda of India, the agenda of economy, jobs, agriculture, women, and ensuring an economic growth story that this country needs. We will not allow them to try and change that narrative.
Okay, time's up. Amit, very quickly, do you see are we going to see more of this now, a kind of contestation between these two narratives?
I think so. I think that the agenda has been set, and from Mia Musharraf to now, it's been a long journey.
Right.
I think that Pakistan is going to be a very important whipping boy
during this campaign.
During this campaign, definitely.
Okay. Well, that's worrying. But that's all the time we have. Thanks all of you so much for joining us. That's it on Reality Check. Thanks for watching. Good night.